Welcome back, everybody. It's Thursday. I just had to pick my headphones off of the floor, and there was so much dirt and grime on it. It was actually kind of disgusting.
There's a
and I
little bit of
pers-
TMI for everybody to start this episode.
and then I had to put it in my ear, and then I looked at it.
Oh,
I was
you're
like,
making
oh my
people
god,
imagine that
it
now.
was disgusting.
Oh. Happy
uh,
Thursday, everybody.
what's going on? Hope everybody's been having a good week so far. It was minus 25 degrees Celsius yesterday, which is like 0 Fahrenheit, I think, for
Yeah, I
you
was
guys.
actually about to think what is that? Because it's 32 degrees by me, but it's so windy
Yeah,
that it just makes it like 10 degrees colder. It's cold, people. It's
yeah.
cold.
It sucks. It's the worst when you breathe in and you breathe it's heavy. It's heavy and it hurts
Yes.
like hell.
Yes.
It's not fun. I hate it. I was
Oh, it
literally
sucks.
I was filling up the tank yesterday and I was the stupid one who didn't have any gloves on, right?
Mm.
And I could not that it was happening, but it's I could feel my hand being stuck on the nozzle. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I was like, oh, man, I had it on for 3 seconds, and I'm like, what the hell? And then I had
Yeah.
to get gloves because it was that friggin' cold out.
You need to come to New Jersey because it would be the only place you'll ever experience not having to pump your own gas.
You know what's
You have to
funny?
sit in the car and have someone else
I
do it.
so we were in Buffalo. When did Sebastian play? The comedian guy. He played at the beginning of November. So beginning of November, we were in
Okay.
Buffalo, did a little shopping, right? But I saw that at almost every gas station, they had people there who pump
Yeah.
your own gas. So is that a
Right.
regular occurrence?
That pump their own gas. Yeah. In the New Jersey, I don't remember if New Jersey's the only one, but in New Jersey, people don't pump their own gas. There's somebody there that does it for you. Like
Right.
you legally cannot, like you're not allowed to pump your own gas in New Jersey. You're not allowed to.
Really?
Yeah, you're not allowed. I don't know the details of it or why that is a thing, but I remember the first time I drove, when I started out my license, I drove to Pennsylvania and
Yeah.
it's I could pump my own gas and I was like, this is actually kind of enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie.
It is kind of
Just
it's funny.
because you're if you're in a bad situation, where there's a lot of people at the gas station, you could be sitting there for 5-10 minutes just waiting for somebody to come over to do it for you, and then you're there for an unnecessary amount of time, and it
Right.
just sucks. So
I remember there's times too where I'll pump my own gas, I'll put it in, and then I'll go in after, and then whatever, it'll go, 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 and then you're done, and then you go back in the car after, and then you're like, why is my tank not full?
right, yeah, no, that's the worst.
It is, right?
That's
So
the
that's
worst.
why I don't necessarily trust other people. It's no, let me pump my own gas, man.
Yeah,
But I also understand it because people would just pump and go, right?
right, exactly.
So
Yeah,
I understand that, right? So, but at the same time,
yeah.
it's I want to know if I did it right. I guess it wouldn't
I'm
matter if
sure you're doing it fine, Kyle. I'm sure
I know,
this.
but I'm sure if that happened to me, right, when I was down there, I would probably tell the guy, hey, I didn't fill up the tank for whatever reason. Can you try again?
Yeah, right,
Oh yeah, give me another $20. It's fuck you.
right. Yeah, it would just be a rip off at that point. You'd be
Literally.
getting ripped off, but yeah.
We got a lot to get into today.
Mm.
There's
And
a
it's not
lot
all
of
Flames related either.
no, it's a lot of
Not.
well, I mean a good chunk of it is.
Good. I mean, well, obviously, look at what we're doing.
Good chunk of it is.
Yeah, it's a Flames podcast, people. We're gonna.
Well, Neil's going to go on a bit of a rant later about the Winter Classic, and we're going to
I'm
talk
mad.
about that.
I'm mad.
We're also going to talk about that I saw more Pedersen news actually today. That I
Yeah,
want
and
to bring up.
I literally got rumor news just now that
Mm.
Jake Evans, it's from Montreal. It's only a matter of time before he gets moved.
Jake
Um,
Evans. Yeah, it
Jake
sounds like
Evans.
it. Now,
Yeah, I just got a thing from the score. That's obviously because I covered the Devils. They said the Devils have been calling Montreal about Jake Evans, and other teams have been calling. So
yeah, the one thing I'll say it real quick. The Bleacher Report was mentioning that Pedersen's been linked to Carolina.
yeah,
So
yeah, I'm not,
whether
I'm not, I'm not, I'm not cool with that
no, and
personally.
they did some mock trades too with him in the Rangers because the Rangers denied excuse me, I think it was the Canucks that denied one with Zibanejad coming the other way, right?
They denied a Zibanejad for JT Miller 1-for-1.
Yeah, that's a
It
bad
wasn't
trade.
Pedersen.
No, that's a bad trade.
Yeah, no,
Like
it's awful. And even
no,
if you tried to do Zibanejad and Pedersen, it's a bad trade. The Canucks would be really dumb to do that.
yeah, no, you
In my
can't do
opinion.
that. Yeah, you
So
can't do that. Yeah, so that's a quick tidbit. We'll kind of get into other news later, but I figure we got to get to the important stuff now.
Of course.
Wasn't the last 2 days what we were expecting? Because I know Monday we were like, oh, we're going to talk about the Ducks game and then the Kings game on Wednesday, and that just didn't happen at all. So,
No. We
before
got
we
the
get into the
Ducks
Ducks
game.
game,
We did get
yeah,
the Ducks game.
yeah, good. It's great that we got the Ducks game. I figured before we get into it, like, we I remember seeing the reports early Wednesday morning that this was a possibility because the wildfires were getting spread so much. Lot of
bad.
houses, it was really, really bad. And seeing the Weather Network, they brought out videos of like the embered wind gusts. It's really scary over there, and the fact that you're getting no rain, the precipitation is all the way down to zero. Like it's awful, right? So. Smart decision, move it, do it a different day. A lot more important things going on out there. If you guys can, make sure to donate and try to help out there as much as possible.
Yeah.
Smart decision though to just move it. Just no
Sure.
point. Keep everybody safe. Get them out of there. And hopefully everything is okay. It's going to be very interesting, non-hockey related. What happens Monday night if they play in LA?
Oh, with the playoff
Rams.
game.
That'll be
the
interesting.
game. Yeah, I'm thinking
It'll be
like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the Kings could just they could just go to like Anaheim or San Jose. And
I mean, and in terms of the football game, you could go down to like, I don't know.
They go to Arizona or something like
Go
that.
to Arizona. Yeah. I mean, I still think you'll still end up like filling the stands. I don't think it's like a lack of.
That won't be an issue. It's just they're going to play the game, but it might be on a neutral field.
It'll be really interesting to see how that goes over the next couple of days. We also do have college football playoff tonight, by the way.
Football playoff tonight,
which
as well too.
Was really interesting because Notre Dame, like half their team has the flu right now. And they're playing tonight.
Drug them up, baby. Drug them up.
Watch them end up winning by like several touchdowns.
It'll be something stupid like that. Yeah.
Or what if it's like, what if they're just BSing? They're like, it's like games. You know what I'm saying? Like they put out a story to try to like psychologically screw up the other team.
Maybe it's possible.
I still think Notre Dame's going to beat Penn State personally, but that's my opinion.
It's been done before. Let's get into it. So Flames though did play a game this week. Luckily, they were in Anaheim Tuesday night. Did you know that the Flames have won their last 9 meetings in Anaheim after not winning for like 28 games in a row in Anaheim throughout the last like 20 years or whatever the hell it's been?
I didn't know that. I definitely did not know that.
Well, the Flames have now won yet again in Anaheim, but it came at a cost. So let's get into it. So Flames win it in OT 3-2. They get a big win. They put themselves tied with the Canucks back into a playoff position very briefly. And overall, like, fairly good game all the way up until that dreaded Zari hit, which, kind of maybe rallied the team a little bit. We'll kind of get into that afterwards. I want to just talk about the game aspect of it first. So overall, pretty even for the most part. I think Calgary kind of took over a little bit. They were able to get a deflected shot in from Weegar early on in the first period. Killorn gets a nice one to bring it back. A lot of tip-ins and deflections though from the first 2 goals that you saw, which is great. They were getting bodies in front of the net. They were able to get a power play goal too in overtime nonetheless, but face-off percentage was getting better. Fairly even for block shots and giveaways and takeaways and all that fun stuff. But I think they kind of set the tone a little bit there in the second period. You can kind of see 9 shots to 5 on net there. But and the Ducks kind of rallied there, as you can see in the third period. They got one fairly early on. Go to OT. And I don't know if you saw the bounce that Trouba gave Huberdeau. I don't know if did you see it?
I don't think I saw.
Go watch it right now. Go look on your phone right now. Go watch it.
What do I go to, like Twitter?
Just go on your own YouTube. Go look at it right now. So basically, to tell you what happens is that, and for those of you who didn't see what happened,
but just go to the highlights. I guess,
just skip to the end, skip to the goal. Yeah, and
it'll take me some time because it's stupid ads.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah. So basically, with Jacob Trouba had the puck behind the net. He because the Flames had a shot on net. It was like a 2-on-1, denied by Gibson. Kind of goes behind the net. Trouba, I think he was just trying to like get it out because he saw guys going the other way, but it deflected off the back of the boards, right? It hopped over to the front of the net. I don't know if a guy got a stick on it or something. I don't know if Coronado maybe had some influence on it, but it hops over the net. Gibson has no clue where the puck is, and Huberdeau's just right there to tap it in. It's one of the most unfortunate deflections of the season by far. It was hilarious. So If you get a chance to see it, Neil's
All
going
right.
to look at it right now.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'm just seeing the replay of the Sharon Govich opportunity right before that,
Yeah.
which
Speaking of which, too, like Sharon
should have.
Govich,
Oh,
he
so
he
close.
had he had a
All
great
right,
game. He had a lot of shot attempts, but overall, I mean,
I'm watching it.
like it was
So
such a
Coronado,
funny
okay.
deflection.
Oh my gosh.
Like
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
how lucky can you get? You know what I mean?
But that's like also just so funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Like,
Yeah.
and I can't even go like when you're a bad team that happens because like the Ducks, like while not like a top team, like they're still also like not far out of a playoff spot.
That sucks for them though. Like that's such a
That
shit way
sucks.
to end it.
I saw
Um,
I saw the I saw a PWHL game on Tuesday.
yeah.
It was like the New York Sirens against the Ottawa team. And New York was trying to clear the puck. It hit off of the ref and it went right to a player for Ottawa and easy just tap in. That ended up being
Done.
the game winning goal too.
Yeah.
And it was
Like
like it sucks.
I know. That's it's the crappiest way to end it because like it was a good competitive game all the way up until and then that happens and then you're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
Ducks come away with a point from it, but yeah, like good for Huberdeau. Kind of your usual suspects now, maybe going forward of guys that you just kind of need to continue to step up, right? Like Huberdeau still having a decent year. Coronado comes up with it. I mean, Uyghur gets one early on, then Kadri, and it's like that's going to be kind of your usual suspects going forward. But
Sure.
overall, I mean, based on we'll kind of get into what happened though.
The moms were happy.
Yeah, the moms were super
Moms
happy
were
after the
happy.
game. Oh, I'm so happy for them. Like it was such a good it's a great trip that they had until it got cut short, obviously.
Yeah,
But
it's
still, it was a
unfortunate.
nice way for them to go out. They spent
Mhm.
time with them a little bit, and you know, it was just a good little getaway. And I watched a one-on-one interview they did with Ryan Huska and
Mm,
his mom.
his
So
mom.
down to earth, like great
Yeah.
mother-son combo there. And yeah, everybody was super nice about it. Also, that was the first game of the year between the Flames and the Ducks, so they will meet again
That's
later on in the
shocking.
year.
Is that not shocking to you that it took until the new calendar year to get to that point?
It's the NHL
In their
scheduling, baby.
division too.
Yeah, it's the
You
NHL
know,
scheduling. It's brutal. Yeah, we just saw the San Jose Sharks. You know what I
again,
mean? Like,
like I don't get that.
yeah.
Like
So
they played like Eastern Conference teams both times before they played the Flames the first time.
exactly.
I don't get that.
Definitely a win that they needed. I don't know if you kind of had quick thoughts on the game though before we get into the obvious here.
I think the biggest thought to me is Mackenzie Weegar waving at the Ducks fans.
That was
after.
great.
That was so funny. I have like a newfound like appreciation for Mackenzie Weegar because I just think like the dude's hilarious.
He is so
His
funny.
mom's also like lovely. Like if there was one player that embraced and loved every second of the mom's trip, it was like Uyghur.
Yeah.
Like he like wanted his mom to he wanted his mom to be like involved in like everything. Like it was great. It was great. And and he had a good game. Obviously, he had a goal and he had an assist. He was very much involved, but
Yep.
weird way to win a game. But you know what? They all count the same. That's the way I
Well,
look at it. They
well,
all count the same.
exactly. So good luck. And now there's also the bad luck. So we're not going to show it, but we saw what happened with Connor Zary. If you watched and witnessed what
It's rated
happened
R.
with,
I would.
yeah,
I would say.
it's so I was kind of learning about it too as it was happening. But generally, two things. It's not a good sign that the leg goes that way, number one. Number two, from a guy, I can't remember who commented it, but he's like, hey, like I've had ACL and MCL injuries. If something like that happens and I'm like holding my knee like that, like with both hands on my knee, like that's acting like I want to keep it together. Not a good sign. Like
Yeah.
that tells you right away. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not a great way to go down. As Zary, unfortunately,
Sucks.
he goes down with the injury. They haven't said anything yet. They were going to look at it today when the team kind of came back, and they were going to leave it. But ultimately, it's such a gut punch to this team and a gut punch to him, really, because he was having such a good year. And
Yeah.
he's a guy I'm not worried about for a bounce back. Like he can come back. Hopefully, it's nothing too bad. But the way that leg went, I'm optimistic that we see him again this year because
It's unlikely.
it might. Well, it's unlikely, but for the timetable for Line A, it was 7 to 8 weeks, right? So it's 2.5,
True.
3 months, right?
Yeah.
Now, this could be something totally different, right? And they
Right.
might just tell him, like, dude, we'd rather you be like 100% healthy. And I don't know about you, but that would be me. Like, I'd rather just say, look, if that's the timetable, we're looking at closer to the beginning of April. We'll
Right.
have to see where this team is, number one, right?
That's the thing. It's like, and
That's the problem, right?
yeah,
So
it's a
look at
problem because you don't, if the Flames are if it's more of a guarantee in the next 2.5 months that the Flames are going to be in the dance, it's going to be hard for Zari not to want to like ramp up his, his health to try
yeah.
to, so he could be ready for the playoffs. I mean, granted, like we obviously all know this. The second the Stanley Cup playoffs end, like the amount of horrific, and I mean horrific injuries that you hear about. I'll never forget Tyler Sagan. I forgot what exactly it
Oh
was, but it
man.
was after the bubble series.
Yeah.
He was like his whole body was broken. And that's insane. So like
And to
my
still keep going though, like at the pace that
of
he's at,
course.
right? Like,
Yeah, I think for Zari, him being still fairly young and like you look at this Flames team, I think it would be better to just take it slow.
yeah.
Regardless of what happens, I think it's important to take it slow.
And I just wanted to bring up two things really quick because Eric Francis mentioned this, who's a part of, I believe, the Sportsnet family here, as we have this question up that we'll bring afterwards. From the latest that we had from him yesterday was that Connor Zary is still with the team in LA. This was before they canceled the game, and will have imaging done on his left knee when the team returns to Calgary tomorrow. So it sounds like the Flames are on their way back to Calgary today. So you're probably not going to know until either probably tonight is my best guess. You're not going to find out
Yeah,
either tonight or sometime tomorrow. They'll probably
sure.
let us know. So the one positive was that he was able to get off the ice on his own, which was good. He didn't
Hmm.
need a stretcher, which is good. But now this begs the question, right? From what they talked about on 960. On Sports at 960. Can the
Hmm.
Flames survive long term from Connor Zary? And I think they can. And I think they can survive in the sense of they'll still be in the mix.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Because there's two things that can happen here, and then I'm going to throw it to you.
Sure.
Number one is now this opens up the door for Sharangovich, who's been slow. Okay. This
Yeah.
opens up the door for Kuzmenko, who's been slow, right? It'll open up the door for Peltier, and it might open up the door a little bit more for Coronado, even though he's kind of already been playing with Huberdeau and, they fiddle around with him a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I think it allows those players who have been slow to start the year, okay, well, now we need you more than ever, right?
Right.
And it's a really good chance for guys like Sharangovich, good chance for Kuzmenko and those guys to kind of find their footing here in a time that we need them, right? And then,
Right.
frankly, it's a big game still on Saturday because you still have to play LA, right? And a little bit of blessing in disguise because now they don't have to play back to back, right? They don't have
Nope.
to do that anymore. You're now rested until Saturday. So, there's the one thing, right? It allows
Mhm.
guys to come in and prove themselves, okay, the slow streak is over. Time to click it on. Let's go. Right. The other thing I'm going to mention is this, and this might be a name that we might have to get familiar with. So the Flames will not be summoning Rory. This was yesterday, by the way, before the game. Okay.
Mhm.
Flames will not be summoning, same thing from Eric Francis. They won't be summoning Rory Kearns to replace Connor Zary tonight.
Right.
The LA game yesterday, as the club can use Sharangovich at center and insert Walker Duehr into the lineup, which they probably will on Saturday.
Mhm.
However, good bet that Kearns will make his NHL debut on Saturday. Who is Rory Kearns, you may ask? I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's the leading point scorer in the AHL right now.
He is.
So,
He is currently.
great thing to have if you're Rory. Obviously, it sucks that it has to be Connor, right? And we hope that he
Right.
gets better, and we're hoping that it's not a long time table.
It sucks that it's from an injury stand. Like he gets
Yeah.
called up due to an injury. Like
Correct.
you would rather him get called up because they feel that he's ready to like take that next step. And this might be the chance where he does do that, but it's an unfortunate circumstance.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you pull up? Actually, I'm just curious right now
I
because
have my phone on me, so yeah, I can
yeah,
pull up.
check to see. I want to know like the AHL points leaders because I think
Sure, yeah, I can do
he
that. Just give
is
me a
up
second.
there if I'm not mistaken. So
AHL
once
stats.
Neil look that up, and I'll just finish by
I'll find
saying
this in
that
like 2
this
seconds.
might be a really good chance for a guy like Rory now to come in and be like, "Hey, I can make my mark now," right? And
Hmm.
really impress some of the staff and go, "Hey, if he's been lighting it up down there in the AHL, who knows? Maybe it can transition over into the NHL and frankly into a big game on Saturday." Neil's got the stats.
Yeah, so he's actually second right now behind Cleveland Monsters center Luca Del Bel Belaluz. I'm actually serious; it's his full name.
Wow,
Who has 17 goals, 20 assists for 37 points. Rory Kieran's comes up. Kieran's, right? Am I saying
I
that
think
right?
so. Yeah,
Okay. He actually has more goals. He has 21 goals and 13 assists for 34 points. In terms of the goal scoring leaders, Rory Kieran's is number one on on that list.
yeah.
And then in terms of assists, because I'm having fun here. You know what's funny? He's not even the top assist getter on the Wranglers.
But he's got 21 goals in how many games?
In 27.
So that's what I mean. The guy's got 21 goals in 27 games.
Do you know who leads the Wranglers in assists? You want to take
Who?
a guess? You want
Oh, oh God, don't tell me. I know who it is. What's the
He's a
first letter?
winger. He's a
He's a
winger.
wing. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
what's his name?
Dryden Hunt.
I knew it.
Hunt has 22 assists. Do you want to guess how many goals he has? It's really funny.
Like 2.
He's 7. He's one of those guys that yeah. And
That's like me how I played in house
also,
league.
are you aware that Vinny Hinostroza has been killing it in the minors this year? What
Yeah.
happened to him?
Well, he was in Buffalo and then they sent him
I
down. I think.
know, but
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing him in the
In the league.
NHL.
Yeah. So anyway, regardless, perfect opportunity to bring him up.
Great
He's got
opportunity.
21 goals in 27 games. Huge. I would imagine that he probably plays with Peltier.
Give me top 6, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm
But
being
like if
greedy
you're
about
the
it.
okay, but if you're the coach, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're bringing Rory up for Saturday's game, right?
Mhm.
Would you not want him to play with guys that he's already familiar with in Peltier, maybe Coronado too?
No, that's the thing. We talked about this at length, right? Like the Flames don't have like a 1, 2, 3, or 4 line. Like it constantly rotates.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to bringing all of those guys up to maybe I don't know, the second line or
Right.
something like that, and playing them together. I think that's a good starting point for Kieran's to play with some familiarity and go from there. Um, I remember that Huska talked about in training camp that he was very high on Kieran's during all that. So it's really going to be interesting to see how he can help the Flames moving forward, and I'm really curious to see what he can do. When we
It'll be
see him on Saturday.
fascinating, right? Because I think it'll be a good chance to bring him up. You know, it's not a winger, which is great because I think he's a centerman. Does it say that he's
He
a
is a
centerman there?
centerman. Yep,
He's
you
a
are
centerman.
correct.
Great,
He
right?
is a
Like
centerman.
that's
Well,
huge,
yeah, no,
right?
that's what I'm saying. He's a centerman. He's going to replace. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna hopefully get some more news, but I guess you didn't really answer the question, so I'll give you a chance to
Yeah.
give your thoughts. Do you think they survive long term?
I
Rory's
actually
gone long
am
term,
more confident to say yes to that.
right?
Not even I know you said you think so. I'm leaning more towards yes because the Flames have shown at different points this season that it's like next man up mentality, whether it's because of an injury, whether it's because of lack of consistency. Like guys find a way to step up, and that's what I've liked about you look at the game against Anaheim. It was a grinded out game. Yeah,
Mhm.
we scored 3 goals, but it was a grinded
Always
out game.
is.
No, but that's fine. And especially in this situation, yeah, Zari's obviously he's going to be missed on the ice, but
Sure.
it's got to be next man up. It's got to be somebody else has got to carry the reins, and like you mentioned, good opportunity for guys like Coronado, Sharon Govich, other guys like
Rory.
that. I said this on Twitter yesterday because somebody in Devil's World was talking about how the Devils' penalty kill in terms of production of scoring shorthanded goals hasn't been the same since Sharon Govich got traded for Tyler Toffoli.
Right.
And I was of the opinion to say that and this is true, and I'm sure a lot of Flames fans can agree. Sharon Govich, unfortunately, can be very streaky. There's times where he looks great and he's rolling, like we saw a lot last year, and then there's times like this year where he could kind of be not there.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that great chance in overtime, right in the slot off the turnover, which I thought he was going to score, but Gibson made the save. But like that's kind of what it is. I can understand the frustration of a guy like him. Like you expect him to be more consistent, and it's not there
Right.
because he is kind of a streaky player. But like again, good opportunity for him and other guys to step up because they need goal scoring help for sure.
They need Sharon Govich to step up because they did sign him to a 5. I think it was like a 5x5 deal.
5x5. Yep.
5x5. Yeah. So it's like not the end of the world. Like it's going to be another Kuzmenko situation where it's like you got to get going here, man, or there's going to be you're not going to be valuable right by the end of your contract. So and then just for quick context here, Zari's out now after 40 games. He's had 10 goals and 12 assists. Last year he played 63 games with 14 goals and 20 assists. So certainly a guy that you need there,
Sure.
but at the same time, I kind of look at that stat, and go, there's room for improvement everywhere on this roster to make up those goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
100%.
that's what I lean to believe. Like, I think you can absolutely survive long-term without him, right? You absolutely can. You could bring in Rory. You have some of these younger guys who can establish. You have these guys who haven't, the Sharon Goviches of the world and Kuzmenko's of the world, who haven't been able to step up. You can make up some of that ground, right? It's not, it's frankly, it's not a lot of ground because the guy had 14 goals in 63 games last year, and he was probably going to he was going to go over 14 goals at some point, right? Because he had 10, right? So it's not that hard to not necessarily replace him for the rest of the year, but just to make up some of that ground, which I think they're going to be able to do. So yeah, it sucks to happen to a guy like him, but again, it's a little bit of a blessing in the sense that, okay, well, now we're just going to see some of these newer guys come in, a guy like Rory, and say, hey, like maybe he's a guy that can, turn things around a little bit. Maybe he's a spark that they need for this team, especially at the center position.
Exactly what they need right now.
Where it's exactly what you need. So yeah, it's actually kind of nice if that's going to be the case that we're going to see him play on Saturday. And who knows, right? The guy's had, by the end of the AHL season, the guy might have over 30 goals. Right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
And again, it's a different league. I get it, but it's certainly a nice bright spot to have. And maybe it transitions and maybe it doesn't, but there's only one way to find out. So yeah, we're going to hopefully get some news. We probably won't get it today. If anything like how this show goes, we're going to get it by the end of this episode, and then we're going to head out, and then all of a sudden we're going to get news about Zari.
That's how it always goes for us. Yeah. We record fairly at the same time every week, and we already know that something's going to come out.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to the Wildfires a little bit, there was another postponement. The Lakers were supposed to play tonight against, I think it was Oklahoma City.
Okay.
That game also has been postponed due to the Wildfires. So, yeah.
Okay.
Just thought it doesn't really affect anything in terms of Flames world, but I just thought I'd mention it because I saw it.
It's curious to see, because I don't know where the
football game is going to be fascinating. The
football game will be
brought
fascinating.
Up a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Football game will be fascinating. It'll be fascinating for the Kings, I think, too, more in the hockey world, because I'm not sure where the Wildfires were in relation to the downtown core itself.
Yeah.
Which
I can look it up.
Yeah. It'll be, I'm curious to see how they're going to be really affected by this going forward, like the Lakers, the Kings, those guys, to see how it is going forward for them, right?
I think, it'll be interesting. It reminds me of not completely similarly, but it reminds me of when the New Orleans Saints had to play a whole year away from New Orleans, or not away from downtown New Orleans because of Hurricane Katrina. So
right. Yeah,
same
exactly.
type of thing. Does it possibly affect? It could be a good thing because they might have to play a lot of games on the road moving forward just because,
right?
Which allows the team to, instead of going home to your family, you're going home to your teammates,
right?
And that could create good chemistry. That's That's something you could take out of it.
It's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, guess what? They're going to be on the road and they're going to be in Calgary on Saturday. So,
Exactly.
we'll quickly, I mean, we kind of covered it already. We don't really need to get into it much further. It's still an important game. It's going to be a big game. You're going to, that's the direction that it looks like it's happening, that Rory is going to get his season debut on Saturday.
Yep.
Walker Duehr is now going to be inserted into the lineup a little bit. Defensively, it's going to look pretty much the same. Dustin Wolf did start on Tuesday and did get the win. I'm very curious to see who they start on Saturday. I would probably lean towards Dustin Wolf.
That's where I would lean because you have the time off now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You have the time
So,
off.
like,
And I think
yeah.
I think that's probably the way it was going to go. Like, you had the back-to-back. Wolf started on Tuesday.
Exactly.
Vladar would have started on Wednesday. I don't want them coming out and telling us like, oh, well, because Vladar was supposed to start on Wednesday, he's on Saturday. It's like, no,
Right.
that. Like,
You don't want that. No, you don't
No.
want that. And I think that's, again,
Wolf's
it's
giving them the best chance to win, right?
and especially at this point in the year, we're like, look, like, truth be told, we're fighting for a playoff spot, people. Like, get used to it. That's the reality of where we are right now.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to win these games, especially at home. And look, the Flames, for the most part, have been good at home.
Yeah.
Not as much recently, but they're getting
Two
there.
games though. You can't like
You
can't worry about it too much. You're gonna have bad stretches here and there, right? You can't worry about it. Did you want football news real quick?
Sure.
Raiders fire Tom Telesco, their general manager.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, this is great.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
do you want me to talk about? I don't know.
No, it's okay. We'll talk about it after the pod. It's fine.
All right. Like, put it this way, people. Like, it's just like their owner is a jerk. He sucks.
Yeah,
like, it's
that's
just
all you need to know.
All you need to know. You fire the head coach, and then what? 2 days later, you fire the GM.
Yeah.
The logic behind that.
We'll get it. We'll talk about it after.
We'll
talk about it after. I'll let you read about it. I'll do an ad read real quick.
I'm going to read about it while you're doing the ad.
And then we're going to let Neil rant because we're going to talk about the Winter Classic and outdoor game. And then all the other news coming along.
Now I'm really
we got a lot to talk about today. So let me get through the ad and then we'll go from there. Cool?
Cool.
All right. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings yet?
No.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I'm sorry.
You better get on it.
You were like, no.
The playoffs are here and time is running out as the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL and the NHL. Don't forget, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat like touchdowns, yardage, sacks, shots on goal, and more. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. You win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5 to get $50 in Pick 6 credits. It's only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. So, let's get into more news because
I have news.
Okay.
The NHL revealed another one of their what is it called? Like the all-century team? What are they calling it? The quarter-century team.
Oh, okay.
Like they've been going.
Yeah.
They just did the Kraken, which is hilarious because it's literally all these people are currently on the team.
It's like awesome. Jordan Eberle. It's like Jaden Schwartz.
Jordan Eberle. All right, here are the play. Jordan Eberle, Yanni Gourde, Jared McCann, Vince Dunn, Adam Larson, Joey Decord. That's the first team.
Yeah.
Second team, Matty Beniers, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Jaden Schwartz, Brandon Montour, only because Brandon Montour hasn't even been there a full season, Jamie Oleksiak, and Philip Grubauer. Okay. No disrespect to the Kraken or Vegas. They shouldn't be allowed to be involved.
No, you need like 10 years. You need like 10 years. And then
I don't think they did the Flames yet. I don't think
they'll bring it out soon, but I imagine
and we'll talk about that. I'm really curious to see what they end up.
The usual suspects will be on there.
Imagine if they all played. Someone said on the comment on Twitter, imagine if they all played together.
Oh, frig.
That'd
so be amazing. Funny. That'd be cool. So more news to bring up, though, in the world of hockey. Yeah, I'm actually just seeing this now. The Devils are one of the teams among teams interested in Canadians. Jake Evans, you're our Devils
Perfect.
guy for the most part. What do you make of it?
I think it makes so much sense. The Devils. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is he a center or a winger? I'm trying to
He's the
remember.
center.
He's a center. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Devils are going to need a third line center because Eric Hall got put. He didn't get put on IR, but he, according to Sheldon Keefe, is going to quote unquote miss some time.
Right.
They need a third line center anyway because depth scoring is probably the biggest knock on the Devils at this point in the year. Getting Jake Evans, I think, would be good. There's other guys out there that I've mentioned, like Brandon Tanev. I said Frank Vetrano before he signed that extension, and I was so mad for about 30 minutes when it happened because I was like, "That's the guy."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
No.
And it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious to know what the price is because how many teams are in on him? This is a bottom
probably a lot
guy.
because
No
he's a guy.
disrespect to
He's a
Jake
guy
Evans.
that's going to be easily expendable for the Canadians, and a lot of teams can go after him.
Yeah, because look, the Devils and Canadians have done some good business over the last less than a year. I mean, they did the trade for Jake Allen.
Yeah.
They did the trade for Kovacevic.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm sure I'm sure that they've had conversations. So
It'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Shesterkin, by the way, is starting tonight, and for those of you who don't know, we'll be live for tonight's game between the Devils and the Rangers. So
Jacob Markstrom against Igor Shesterkin should be a good one.
It'll be. That's why I picked.
By the way, tonight. Jacob Markstrom literally stole the game against Seattle. He made. I mean, I have never seen a goalie make that many unreal saves.
That was a disgusting save. Yeah,
was so good. He was so good that he got. You know how the NHL does like top 3 players of the night?
Yeah.
All top 3 were just Jacob Markstrom saves.
Would be surprised. I
was laughing at one point. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I just need to warn you though, because it's not surprising that Markstrom's been doing well, right? It's the playoffs. That's because when it came to the playoffs, when we had him, he struggled.
Yeah.
Fairly mightily. So that's my only just by the way, just
I get
up.
it.
He needs to I have no doubt. I still we've talked about this before, where I had the Devils going pretty far this year. A lot of it's going to hinge on Markstrom, and I think he can play well, and I do, and I think he's going to play well come playoff time. But
those soft
there
goals
is that history.
Every now and then is irritating me.
There is that history where it's like, man, he played pretty poorly when he was in Calgary at the time, right? Okay, next piece of news, though.
I think he's had only one good year in the playoffs, and that was in the bubble with Vancouver.
Yeah, exactly, and it wasn't.
And granted, how much do you take into that? So, I mean, obviously, it's not something that's at the forefront of my mind or any Devil's mind. We're just happy that we're getting top goaltending right now, and I would argue. I think Markstrom's going to finish top 3 in the Vezina Trophy voting.
Oh, he should absolutely.
He won't win it because Connor Hellebuyck is having a Connor Hellebuyck season, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he is.
They don't need a backup goaltender,
and he probably will end up winning it. And you know what's funny is we look back on that trade, and I think we keep saying it it's still a good trade on both sides. When we got Ball on that first round pick, it's still a great value trade.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
And I'm happy for Kevin Ball that he's getting a bigger role. Because I don't think he was ever going to get it in New Jersey. Just truth be told.
You know what's funny too is we've had such good business in the past. You know, with the Toffoli deal and with this deal, it's still a good relationship going forward with Fitzgerald and Conroy.
I don't think the Devils and Flames will make any business at the deadline. I mean,
who would you they keep bringing up? Okay, we need to get into this.
Yeah,
because.
We're talking about the Flames, so this works.
Yeah, they keep bringing up, and the Barn Burner guys mentioned it the other day, is they brought up Kadri and they brought up Anderson, and they were like, you need to trade, at the very least, Anderson now, right?
Yeah.
And I go,
for what?
I get it. I get it, okay? I'll say this, and then I'll let you do your rant about the outdoor games, because we'll move on, right?
Yeah.
So, we got Anderson at $4.5 million. He's at a stupid undervalue, and he's one of the best defensemen, maybe top 10, 15 in the league, give or take, right?
Yeah.
However you want to put it, right? So the Barn Burner guys mentioned it that they need to trade him, or I think it was Rhett who mentioned it that it's we need to trade him before the deadline. Okay, fair. He's still fairly young, right? And I get you want to have this kind of asset management going forward, right?
Yeah.
What if he wants to stay? What,
There
like,
you go.
I don't mind. I wouldn't mind paying the guy for the next 7 years, like around, I don't know, 8-9 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be okay with that. He's been nothing but great with this team ever since
Yeah.
he's came up, right? And he's a guy that you brought up into the system. And I feel like losing him is like, okay, well, it's like, who's next, right? Like, what are you
For
trying to
sure.
establish here? If
Yeah.
I understand, like, you kind of did your asset management a little bit, and I know there's a little bit more to do going forward, but it's like, you still can find a way to keep guys, right? Like, Anderson's a guy like you want to keep, and I understand his value, but it's like, if you want to be competitive in the next 3 years, right? 2 to 3
Right.
years, give or take, he's generally a guy you want to keep around, would you not?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I look at it as, you could only do, like, when you're in a position of trying to rebuild, retool, however you want to describe it, there's only so much of gaining assets you can do before you have to start thinking about who are the guys, especially veterans, that like want to be here and
Right.
want to stay like long term. Like, and it's nothing wrong. Like, fans love that. Fans love when like a guy wants to actually be a part of their organization,
Yeah.
regardless of what the situation might be. So I mean, I don't think it hurts for them to hear what other teams think.
It never does.
No, and every team does it. And there's so many times where it's happened where we don't even know that it happened. So that's where I look at it and I say to myself, I agree with you. I don't think that it would be really a bad move to keep him long term. And with Kadri, it's kind of like the same thing. It's like I'm pretty sure. I think you mentioned it. Didn't Kadri mention at some point earlier this year that he
He
wanted to
did. At
stay?
the very beginning of the year, people were talking about it, and there's other people around, like in Leafland and in Colorado, and Spit and Chicklets mentioned like they need to bring Kadri to Colorado. And Kadri mentioned at the beginning of the year, he's like, guys, I signed a 7-year deal here. I want to be here. If I
Mhm.
didn't want to be here, I wouldn't have signed a 7-year deal.
Right.
And it's
Well, because
like,
people will look at it and say, "Oh, well, you only signed it because of the money."
right. And it
So I'm
wasn't even a
like,
lot of money. The
okay,
guy got paid 7 by 7.
he did. He
Right.
did.
So it's
It's a
like,
lot.
it was a lot.
It is a
Right.
lot.
It's not even that bad on the books for the Flames. You know,
No,
he's
no,
generally a guy where like I kind of want to keep him around, right? Like he wants to be here. We're not going to. He's a guy we are not trading in the next few years. Not happening.
no,
I'm
no,
calling it. Like it's
no.
ridiculous that people are like all of a sudden making these scenarios like he's got to come back to Toronto, he's got to come back to Colorado. It's like bump all that, man. You
Yeah,
guys are
right.
ridiculous. He just signed a long-term deal. Like the whole thing is so stupid, and he wants, from what we know, or at least what I know from what I've seen, is that he wants to be here. End of story. No need to add on top of it. Okay. I'm going to read this and then you can go off. Deal?
Go
All
ahead.
right. Outdoor hockey is coming to the Sunshine State. The Florida Panthers will host the New York Rangers for the Winter Classic on January 2nd, 2026, and the Tampa Bay Lightning will face the Boston Bruins as part of the Stadium Series on February 1st, 2026, the NHL announced Wednesday. The Panthers and Rangers will play at Lone Depot Park, home of the MLB's Miami Marlins.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Will take on the Bruins at Raymond James Stadium, which hosts the NFL's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go.
The league sucks. They just suck. Like, they're so tone deaf to their own fans, it's not even funny. Like, look, we've talked about this before, to have better matchups in these games. And truth be told, you could look at it on paper and say that these are better matchups. I don't see it that way. Because the Panthers are obviously hot right now. And they're gonna be good moving forward. Look at the Rangers this year. They're a bad hockey team. They're a bad hockey team. The Bruins are a bad hockey team. Can't believe I'm saying that in my lifetime, but the Bruins are a bad hockey team.
In a playoff spot.
But they're a bad hockey team in my opinion. Tampa's still good because it's freaking Tampa and they just don't go away. They're there.
They're there.
They exist, and they are annoying. You had the absolute perfect opportunity to have the Battle of Florida to promote the game in the Sunshine State. Perfect opportunity. And you're like, you know what? Why don't we have 2 games instead in 2 completely different venues? And I'm like, no, don't do that. How about we play Florida against Tampa, which is a rivalry, ladies and gentlemen. It's just they've played each other numerous times in the playoffs over the last 3 or 4 years. And all you have is just fans from Florida, whether it's the Miami area or the Sunrise area or Tampa Bay, that are there. The hockey world is focused on South Florida. No. Let's play the Panthers against the Rangers for some reason, and everybody will tell me, well, Neil, they played each other in the Eastern Conference Finals. True. Well, the Rangers are original 6. They have a big market. A lot of people who lived in New York or worked in New York now live in Florida. True. But there are so many other matchups you could have done. You could have done a lot differently. You could have done Florida against Boston, which has actually been really entertaining the last couple of years. And the thing about it is this, the worst part about it, Kyle, when is the game being played? What day?
The Florida Panthers game is being played,
Yes,
what did I just say? January 2nd, I think I said.
What the hell?
January 2nd.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Okay? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of, we're sensitive to not getting enough numbers because we have to compete with the college football playoff and the NFL. You're losing the luster of the damn game itself by not playing it on New Year's Day like everything else. You were doing it for years and you weren't worried about the ratings. The ratings were good, actually. But this year you played it on New Year's Eve at 5:00 when there were 9 other games going on at the same damn time. What are we doing here, people? I went to the Winter Classic 2 years ago in Boston. That was played on January 3rd. What this is like, people didn't realize, a lot of people were like, I didn't even know the Winter Classic was happening. You know why? Because we also had the same matchup we've had before in a venue we've already been to, this, that, and the other thing. By the way, they only have in that Miami stadium a retractable roof. This is not a Winter Classic by any means, okay? You could have done this at the Dolphins Stadium. That's outdoors. Oh my God, dude. When is Gary Bettman going to retire? Low key, I'm really sick of this. I'm sick. Honestly, it just takes away the interest to me of these outdoor games. They're just
If
not
you thought the
interesting
Blues
to me.
and Blackhawks game was boring, just give it a
I
minute.
did a live watch along for that.
Yeah, true. That's
Ladies
right.
and
Well,
gentlemen,
that
it
wasn't
was
boring.
No, that wasn't boring, but also the score was awful. The Blackhawks, suck. And, the Blues have been playing a lot better since Jim Montgomery took over. By the way, doesn't that look bad on Boston? I think so.
Yeah.
But again, just...
So I'm just quickly looking up.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
I want to look up.
By the way, it has
quick.
nothing to do with the fact that I want the Devils in another outdoor game. It has nothing to do with that.
I'm looking
I don't
up.
care. So
No, it's I got it. I want to look up, or maybe do you know off by heart? It was a Stadium Series game that they played. I think it was in California. I think it was the Kings and the Ducks. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. That was the first year of the Stadium Series, 2014.
Yes. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Because they
Kings,
played
I'll
at
just give you
Dodger
some context.
Stadium in January.
Yep, that was it.
They had a really tough time not getting the ice to. They tried to keep it
Not be
intact.
choppy.
And guys were saying it at the time that it was very choppy, it was very slushy too.
Yep.
And that was in LA, right?
Yeah.
So my only I'll say two things about it because you hit the nail on the head, right?
Yeah.
You know, even if like flip them around, and if it's Florida and Boston, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes much more sense, right? Because they hate each other, right? Tampa Rangers have had history, right? But again, it's a perfect opportunity to pit your two Florida teams against each other. So, and also the other thing, I was just in Tampa last year in December.
Yep.
Hi, Uncle Andrew, because he lives there. So
he happens to be watching right now.
Right.
Hello.
So I went there and played golf, by the way, November. Close enough.
Nerd.
Whatever. Close enough. But played there November in shorts and a t-shirt. And it's, for people who haven't been, it's muggy. It can get muggy, and it can get pretty ugly if there's no wind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've been lucky enough to pass by the Bucks stadium, so I see where it's being played at too, right?
The Stadium Series, yeah.
The Stadium Series, excuse me. Everything about this smells like a disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just think about like the money that you're pissing away trying to make this work in fucking Florida.
It's awesome.
It's
so stupid.
Ridiculous.
So stupid.
Bro,
it's not even like the playing in Florida. That's my feeling. Like, I don't.
Oh, it is for me. How many times like have we come on here and we'll be like, bro, go play in a college stadium in the winter? Are you kidding me?
Go play in Alaska. I've been begging for that.
Go back to Lake Tahoe or Lake Placid or whatever.
Lake Tahoe,
like,
yeah,
do
that's
that,
what I
right?
want.
And then go to when they go to friggin' what is it? Ohio State, I think is where the Buckeyes play?
Ohio Stadium. Yep,
where the Buckeyes play. You're gonna have Columbus and Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to and it's perfect because Ohio State and Michigan hate each other, right? But it's like go to a college football stadium and play there.
Yeah.
Before anything else, right? Yeah. Like, it's the easiest thing to do. But no, instead, like, they have to do this, right?
They feel
I wonder,
they feel like they have to do it.
Well, fancy me this, okay? Had Florida not been in those back-to-back cup finals, do you think they'd be playing in Florida?
No.
I don't think so either.
That's
I don't think so. I think it's a joke. It's hard to fathom because it's like, even for the players, it's like, do you think they really want to be geared up, right? In Tampa Bay, Florida, right? Yeah. It's going to be a night game regardless, right?
It's going to be a night game.
It's going to be a night game, but I literally went to a Lightning game in shorts. Well, watch the Flames play Tampa Bay in shorts. And we went into the arena, and the arena itself wasn't even that cold because we went in with shorts. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
And the guys play that. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking wild, right? It makes no sense. The whole thing makes absolutely zero sense.
And I'm trying to think, like, is Florida the only team left that hasn't played an outdoor game? I feel like I'm missing one.
Who cares? Who gives a shit?
No, I'm just saying.
You know what I mean? No, like, who cares? Like,
damn, I'm sorry.
But it's like, if you want them involved, then fucking go get the Panthers to play in Boston at Fenway Park. Boom. Look at that.
That's boring. We've already done Fenway Park.
Well, at least Bruins fans hate Panthers, man. At least that's the other issue. Fenway.
The other issue that you're bringing up is they're not going to venues that are like unique. They're going back to the same venues that we've already done.
Yes.
So like what pissed me off about when they announced last year, oh, Blues and Blackhawks at Wrigley Field. Well, dumbass, we've already done that matchup already.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks suck in Winter Classics. They have not won one. They're 0-6.
Yeah.
They've won one outdoor game in the entire time they've been doing this. And you played it at Wrigley Field, and everybody was acting like they had never been there before. And it's like, oh, hello, people. They already did that.
You know
So,
where they
like,
haven't been?
The Military Academy in West Point.
Sure.
I'm
Utah.
I am begging for that.
I know you. That was very specific.
That's
so
my
I
big
imagine
one.
you'd be
But
begging
what were
for
you
it.
going to say?
Utah. Bro.
Yeah, they haven't done it.
Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
Utah, man. You want to promote the game out there instead of giving them a shit arena that they're in right now? Go
Wait.
throw it outdoors next year.
What if you play an outdoor game in Arizona and you use the Utah team?
Well, oh my God, that'd be mean. That'd be so mean.
That would be very petty and very mean. And
You can think of
Utah.
so many other places
Where would they
that you
play
can
in
do
Utah?
it.
I guess University of Utah.
Bro, for the Canadian market, right? If they're trying to make it work, go to Saskatchewan. Go to Saskatchewan. They will
Rough
get
Riders
hammered
Stadium.
out there and watch a game.
It's awesome.
Right? So it's like the whole point is like there's so many different places where they can play.
Yep.
And they choose that. It's pathetic. It's so pathetic.
And the matchups, again, like that's what
Or
I'm
even
more
worse.
on.
Yeah, sure.
You're on the side of like where they're playing the games.
Oh no, I'm on
looking
the side
at-
of the matchups too, though.
Yeah,
I
no,
get
but
it.
like I'm saying, like that's where where most of my focus is like, Gary Bettman says, "Oh, people are gonna think we lost our mind." No, no hockey fan thinks that. We all believe that you're just tone deaf. That like you think that somehow this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Panthers fans. Okay, I'm gonna just say that right now. Good for you. You're getting an outdoor game. Awesome. Great.
Okay.
But like, don't. But I will just warn everybody: don't start complaining about the conditions and the ice because this was the NHL's decision. This is what they wanted. This is exactly what they wanted.
But also, too, you mentioned it to Panthers fans. They couldn't fill Game 7 of the Cup final. They didn't sell out.
Yep.
So what happens?
What a shock.
But like, think about this. What happens 10 years down the line, right? When the
Mhm.
Panthers eventually, we know what's going to happen down the road when they hit that drought.
Yep.
They're going to be literally what we saw of them 10 years ago.
It's gonna suck.
It sucks.
It's gonna suck.
The whole thing sucks because it's like, oh, now that they're good, now you got to push for it, right?
Yep.
You know, I don't know.
They-
I think
that's what they
it
think.
smells bad. Everything about it smells
The problem
awful.
is that the NHL constantly thinks that like us as fans are pushing them to do this outdoor game. No one is pushing it.
No, nobody asked for it.
Nobody asked for it.
Yeah.
They keep thinking we're asking for this. No, we're not. We're asking for better matchups in unique venues.
Yeah.
Like every year I see BR Open Ice put out a thing like top 10 like places that would be really cool for an outdoor game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are all great ideas. Never going to happen
No,
because the NHL is tone deaf to it
exactly.
because they don't want to be they're going to be they're not ambitious enough.
I think they
do
lose
that.
money from this.
Look at college basketball. They've played college basketball games on a freaking aircraft carrier.
Literally. Like,
Like, hello? Like, and it's mind-boggling to me. I take this so personally. It's sad. You've been to every military academy in the United States, yet you continually ignore West Point, and you include the Rangers in this. Why couldn't you just do a Stadium Series game at West Point, Rangers against the Islanders for like the 1,000th time because you've done that and we're tired of it?
yes. Yeah.
Give me
There's-
West Point, for the love of God.
Yeah.
I want to see that before I die.
Yeah. It'll happen. Just give it time, right? But it's just
No,
like you mentioned the
No, you
matchups.
say
Like,
that, and they're still tone deaf.
yeah, you mentioned the matchups. It's ridiculous, right? Like even
Yes.
like I don't know about you. I even think Predators versus Lightning would have been a better matchup than the Lightning and the Bruins,
But-
right? Or Rangers.
But we already did that.
Oh yeah, we did do that. That's right.
We did. We
Sorry,
already
I was just
did
thinking in the
that.
sense of like storylines. Like, dude, you got Stamkos over there coming back, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think they lose. They'll like, it doesn't make sense.
Yep.
None of it makes sense. It's
just-
frustrating. It's ridiculous,
I have
and
nothing. I have nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
just
frustrating
whatever.
because we are so passionate about it, though. That it's these guys that, it's the owner fan club here with about 12 guys that are in the inner circle, however it is,
Right.
and they make all the decisions in the world, right?
Yep.
That's all it is, essentially, right? You got your guys from New York, you got your guys from LA, you got your guy, whatever, right? Like the
Right.
usual suspects of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the most frustrating part about it. And,
Yeah.
that's the kind of, and I think it's so sad because I remember when the Winter Classic used to be exciting.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not
boring.
anymore. It
It's
sucks.
not.
It's
It
awful.
lost its luster, and you know what? I don't think people would be that mad if they stopped it for a year or two.
Do you remember when the Winter Classic? Do you remember though? Like, fair. Do you remember when they did the Winter Classic? Like when Doc Emmerich was doing it from NBC.
Yes, of course.
Bro. Like I remember watching highlights of like and just hearing Doc Emmerich from NBC.
Right.
He was electrifying for commentary.
He was fantastic.
He was unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Like that's something too. I feel like it's a little bit separate, but I feel like that's been missed a little bit with some commentary, right?
The only guy that I feel like could get to that has been able to get to that level,
That echelon, yeah.
would be probably Bob Wischusen at ESPN, because I really like him personally
He's good.
because he brings the energy for whatever game he's doing.
You
And
do.
ESPN hasn't even done an outdoor game yet, I don't think.
I feel like, yeah, and they're missing the mark. And
Oh, no. I'm wrong. They did. They did both of the Stadium Series games at MetLife.
Yeah.
Last year.
For sure.
I should have known that. Yeah. And they have look, no offense to Sean McDonough, okay? He's great for college football. I just don't think that he's that good for hockey. I just am not.
It's true.
But, you know.
Couple of things to wrap up here. Monahan was put on IR, by the way. Not
Really?
great because Columbus was doing really well. He had a goal per game, by the way. Sean Monahan.
What? When did he get hurt?
2 nights ago, 4 hours ago, it was put out that Monahan was put on IR. So I think it was last night's game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But he had a goal a game, if I'm not mistaken, from Columbus. So it sucks because they were doing so well, and the guy that they really leaned on too.
I would love to see them make a run into.
Well, that's the other thing, and maybe this is the last thing that we bring up for today. And I was actually meaning to bring it up. I wanted to bring up the Eastern standings a little bit because it's such a tight race that it's kind of laughable at this point. So every team is still alive.
Right.
A little bit, right?
Yep.
So we'll bring it up real quick, and I think that's going to wrap it up today. But just showing here, like, you got 10 teams that are still I mean, maybe Buffalo's a bit of a stretch, but it's important for tonight too, by the way, because Rangers Devils will be doing live tonight on the THPN channel.
Yep. It's a good game.
Man, if Rangers win, all of a sudden you're 2 points back. But it's like the Columbuses, the Pittsburghs, the Ottawas, the Montreals, Detroit, who's been on a bit of a winning streak since they fired their head coach. Philadelphia still hanging around, right? You got about 5 to 6 different teams who are within 4 points of each other. It's funny because I still don't see, and you know what's hilarious what's the one thing you're looking at this, right?
I'm looking.
What's one thing that stands out to you? There's one thing.
What stands out to me, and I'm probably wrong about it, but what stands out to me is the Pittsburgh Penguins have a minus 28 goals.
You're close.
Goal differential. Oh, I'm close.
You're close.
Is it that Tampa has 3 games over like most teams?
No, it's the same thing. Tampa's got a plus 33 goal differential.
I did see that, but I didn't think it was as funny as minus 28, yet you could make the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious. It's a joke.
I hate this. I hate the Eastern Conference because it's mid. I'm sorry. I'm going to call it like it is. This is a steaming pile of mid.
It's so funny.
Look at this crap.
Why
is this happening? We are in January and we're still not even close to determining what's going to happen.
It's kind of sad that a 500 club is in a playoff spot in the East.
Bro, it's just like,
at least for the Flames, we're 19. I think they're like 19 and 14.
Look at Columbus's home record.
Oh God, it's like
look at that.
And then
wait, is the first one home or road? Can you go up for a second?
Oh, the left side's home. It's home. It's
Okay, so the road record. All right, so now all right, that's
home and then road. Yeah.
I thought that was their home record. I'm like, that's funny. Yeah, no, but like -28.
So
What is
funny.
that? And then the
So funny.
Senators are at 0.
Yeah.
They actually have, you know, like I don't get it. I don't get it. Detroit's
Hey,
still in it.
don't look
The
now. The
Flyers are
Red
still
Wings have won
there.
5 in a row.
Yeah,
They've won 5 in a row,
maybe
right?
Lalonde was the problem.
Maybe it was, but they needed a spark, right? And maybe the Red Wings find a way now. It wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me if they find a way in, but
I
just
who's
think
really benefited from Todd McClellan? Patrick Kane is playing so well right now.
he is playing really
And he
well.
said that McClellan is like the best thing that happened to this team because he's just been great.
It
But
so
I still don't
for
think the
me,
Red Wings
like
make the playoffs.
it kind of emphasizes it's actually a fairly big game tonight when we go live.
It is.
Because the Rangers have to jump a lot of teams, right? And if they
They're
fall
good.
behind even just a little bit, all
Yeah.
of a sudden the Red Wings could pick up 2 points, the Canadians could pick up 2 points, the Senators, and then all of a sudden you're now 6-7 points behind,
Yeah.
right? They have to stay with it. And I think it's important tonight for the Rangers to win. And then on the Devils
Especially at
side of
home.
things, right?
Especially at home. Yeah. Look at that.
How the f- is Washington in first?
No, this is what pissing me off. This is actually pissing me off because you mean to tell me that a goaltending tandem of Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren is somehow carrying this damn team?
It's not even that they're carrying it though. Look at their goal differential at 41.
But that's unrealistic. You know
Right.
why that's unrealistic? I'll tell you why. There are so many games where they just take like they've just caught a goalie on a bad night. Now, granted, like you're gonna do that and that's fine, but it's like I have a tough time seeing this team make a deep run in the playoffs.
Sure.
I'm just saying,
Sure.
it's just like I don't get it. I don't get it. This happened last year. It's the same thing. How are they doing this?
You know what? Like
Worse, I'll give you
playoffs are always a
crazier
different
this
season
year.
though, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the East. We'll quit while we're at it. Might
Look
as
at the
well.
West. Yeah, why not? Why not?
The
I'm
West,
having fun. We're having fun
Vegas
here.
looks like they're kind of running away with the Pacific, unless the Oilers, who like continue, like you see these guys here, like win streaks left, right, and center for Vegas, Edmonton, and LA. I refuse to believe that the Canucks are still in this race. I think they're gonna. I think what's gonna happen. I think it's inevitable that Pettersson and Miller are probably gonna get dealt. Or at least one of them is gone, right?
Yeah.
Whoever it is, one of them is gone, and it hurts this team, right?
Yep.
And is that okay? Here's my last question, and then we'll wrap it up.
We're way over the time
I
today.
know, whatever it is, what it is. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
If they lose Pettersson or Miller, whoever it may be,
Mhm.
do you think that that's enough for the Flames to find their way in?
If Miller goes.
If Miller, which I think he will, because I think a lot more teams are interested in Miller because they don't want to take on that Pettersson contract.
And I think the other thing is that, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, but I think that like,
Man,
I don't know.
The more that you're looking,
Somebody's going to desperately want JT Miller. Like someone's going to overpay. I know it.
Well,
I know
so
it in my heart.
Look at this for a
Someone's
sec. Just hear me out here, right? If Miller goes, I can't see the Canucks making the playoffs. I think Quinn Hughes has been too hurt. I think there's just been too many problems going on over there, and I don't think they can figure it out. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's the case, the Flames are 2 games under the St. Louis Blues, right? If you collect 2 wins here in any stretch of the imagination, right?
Mhm.
You're all of a sudden at 49 points.
Yep.
Right? To 42.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, listen.
Battle of mid.
Well,
sorry.
It was
no,
important.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
it was important that they beat the Ducks, by the way, because now they separated themselves even further, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's going to be really interesting down the stretch. I think they're going to be in it till the last week or 2.
And even if they don't make it, I consider it a successful season. If
100%. It's already been a successful
season. Don't make the playoffs. Yeah, it's just
For
like,
sure.
It's like if they make the playoffs, great. Because you know what that tells you? That just gives this team an extra year of like, we're in the playoffs and like we can grow from this and then like go. And look, we always know playoffs, you never know what could happen.
No.
The Flames
Listen,
could go
like I'm if for some reason they make it, I will be so excited to watch this team. They might lose 4 straight games if it's against Vegas or whatever, but I'm still going to be so excited because at least I get to watch 2 home playoff games.
right.
And I'm okay with that. And I'm really and I would be really
Yeah.
excited for that. And it brings back the Sea of Red. It's like, well, shit, like we're back in the playoffs for some reason, right?
Yeah, and then all you have to do, which again shows you the NHL is tone deaf, is I don't know, put the Stanley Cup playoffs on the ice again.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't tell if you were not like watching all season, you would have no idea if it was the playoffs or not.
Exactly.
Tone deaf.
Look, if they did get in, I mean, it seems that it would be Vegas because they're kind of leading the way, right? I mean, you got Winnipeg and Minnesota there, right? If Devils have
I don't care who we would play. I don't care.
If they made it, I would give ourselves a better chance against like a Minnesota or even Winnipeg, honestly.
I'd say Winnipeg.
I just don't want
the Jets are notorious chokers.
I wouldn't want Vegas. Screw that.
Well, because the fear would be, all right, how many times are we going to get shut out? Not even
That's
how
the
many times
problem, right? We can't score in Vegas.
We can't score in Vegas. They're the nightmare, and it's crazy. Also, look at the Jets plus 46 goal differential. 46,
though, man.
ridiculous.
It's all about the playoffs.
It's all about the playoffs for sure. Right now, it's just fun.
The closer we get to somebody making a move, it makes things more interesting to see if Calgary ends up making a move too. But that's a conversation for another day.
The question becomes, who's the first team that's going to do something?
It's going to be Miller or Pettersson out the door first, and that's what's going to open the floodgates.
Jake Evans. I think Jake Evans is the first one to go.
Yeah, he probably will.
It's a minor deal. I get it.
Don't forget they did earlier deals with Colorado and Wedgwood. And
that's true. And look, Colorado made deals with Dallas, getting Nashville with Scott Wedgwood, and then they made that deal with the Sharks to get Mackenzie Blackwood. So like, and it's crazy. Like they got 2 goaltenders. They changed their completely goaltending tandem, and now they're doing very well.
Bingo.
Recently,
you got it. All right, that's gonna wrap it up. Great episode today. A lot of content. A lot of stuff that we had out today. We'll be back again Monday. We'll recap the LA game if that one gets played, which it will.
It's gonna be a snowstorm. Watch this.
I know, right? We'll get back to you on Monday. For you guys who want to check us out tonight, we're going to be live for tonight's game between the Devils and the Rangers. Jimmy Finizzi will also be joining us because we haven't done one in a while, and I figured
we've done one in a minute. Yeah,
it was time. So we're going to take a bit of a break this afternoon, and then we'll be jumping on live tonight at 7:00 on the THBN channel. But for us at Flamescast, we'll be back to you guys on Monday. So hope you all have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay warm because it's chilly, and we will chat again on Monday. Later, guys.